that black hole, it's basically over. And then, as I was talking about last draft, that Venator is a very important pick. And so, instead of picking it this time and having Shromo play it, they're just going to be banning it outright. I think this is also a good option.
Yep, Nebraska Lincoln opting into making their own stakes, making their own silver bullets, and trying to get through to Northwood University. They're going to try and shut them down any way possible. And we see Northwood, they're going to take this opportunity to bring out the silver. Last time it was banned first. This time it is picked first. He has a ton of impact. And you see UNL responding in kind with another Mina pick.
Yeah, I feel like the Venator and the silver have fairly equal weight in terms of importance when it comes to picking / banning them.
Yep.
And so if it's not one, it's going to be the other. I do like our chances into a silver more, and I especially like our chances with a Mina on the board. But we will have to see how this all plays down in the actual match.
Still very early days. You did call out a little bit earlier. You wanted to make a bit less of a brawly comp. What would that translate to looking at the draft, at least from the current spot?
This is going to sound mean, and I know that I'm going to get flamed for this afterwards, but I want to see someone play Mo and Krill. Because I think... I know. Listen. Listen, let me explain myself.
Okay, I'm listening.
I think the thing we struggled with last game is we struggled with locking down people and getting those kills. I think if we got more picks, then things would have started to work a little better. And Mo and Krill is good at that. Let's have a point and click ult that says no more playing the video game. You know what? I'm sorry, but we got to do what we got to do. And the Infernus goes to Northwood. This is not good. Oh no.
Yeah, Infernus finding their way back over the Mirage. This time, Northwood University's very own pick. You got yourself a very nice 1-2 carry off carry setup. University of Nebraska Lincoln as well, picking up that Shiv, pairing that up with a Billy. Very strong front line here for your first 3 picks.
Yes. The Billy will also be helpful because kind of works like a budget black hole in my opinion.
Yep.
With some added damage. I think this is a good step in the direction of UNL. I want to see what the rest of their picks are because I feel like that's going to be the important part.
Yep. It's going to be a really big impact, right? We have Kelvin getting banned for getting banned by Nebraska Lincoln. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to think about the domes. They're not going to draft things that will counter the dome. So taking it off the board makes a lot of sense. And then you also got the Lady Geist ban from Northwood University. Again, denying things that you don't want to touch anymore.
Yeah. As a Kelvin main myself, I can understand the Kelvin ban. And we see the Bebop. This is what I was hoping for.
Yep.
This power is going to be on Lincoln's side, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. We're going to see those picks, and now that I think about it, we're going to have a lot of great opportunity to lock those characters down once they get hooked. You know, we have the Billy to keep them knocked up. We have the Shiv and the Mina to capitalize. This looks good.
Yep. And Northwood University follow it up with the Warden pick. Very surprising to me personally. Following up a really greedy Infernus Mirage with a Warden of their own is going to have a lot of extra pressure on their soul split. How are they going to manage it? Is the Infernus going to be the position 3? Sits in the mid lane, soaks up those waves, makes those rooms happen. But then you're also forcing one of either your Mirage or your Warden to get into early fights, and it's a pretty difficult spot to be in. They followed that up with the Rem pick, though.
I think the Warden's going to be less of a carry and more of a tank in this scenario.
Okay.
Whether that's going to be effective or not, I can't really say. I don't know much about Warden, I'll be honest.
Yep.
Coming out from Nebraska, the Doorman Viper. I think Doorman is especially going to be a good pick because I was talking about Mo and Krill with the point-and-click ultimate. Doorman is basically like that with just some extra steps. And I think the added mobility and the general utility that Doorman offers is going to be very paramount to Nebraska's success in this match.
All right, Northwood University lock in their final character to round off their draft. It's going to be a Sinclair. So both of these teams, they found themselves situated. You got a little bit of what you asked for from University of Nebraska Lincoln. They picked up the Doorman, who has the point-and-click CC. They got the Viper, who is pretty strong brawler and hyper carry. And the Bebop for those picks. who do you think will take this lead in the early game?
I think it's going to be, for the lead in the early game, I think it's going to be Nebraska. I think they've got a much better laning phase going into this.
Okay.
Now, whether that translates into victories down the line, I'm hoping it does, and I have a lot of confidence. I think we're just going to have to wait and see. I think it's time to get in.
All right, Game 2 is kicking off now. As we transition to the game, we're about to see who our laners are, where we find them situated. Northwood University. We've got a pretty strong core set up. A little bit greedy, but we can make things work with this. Nebraska Lincoln, they've set themselves up with a really strong shot towards success in this early to mid game, setting themselves up potentially for that late too. Let's get into it.
All right. And I'm curious to see who's going to be playing what, honestly. I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is where we change the narrative. This is where we stop their momentum in its tracks, and this is where the reverse sweep begins.
Fingers crossed here for the reverse sweep. Looking at these lanes, does anyone in particular jump out to you?
I think the mid lane is going to be very exciting with the Bebop, and I think that is the Mina, who's also in mid lane. That's definitely going to be the best outcome here, because it's going to be of the utmost important to get that Mina strong as quickly as possible, and get that Mina to start snowballing and become utterly unstoppable.
And also with the potential for Bebop to take a lot of early roams with his grappling hook, you're going to allow Mina to soak up a lot of solo farm in the process. It's a little bit of a win-win in both situations here for Nebraska. Well, they're not going to have too much pressure here. The Warden can be a little bit of a pain with those flasks and the binding word against just a 2 stamina Mina.
That 2 stamina increasing quite quickly with important stamina mastery and Arcane Surge, I think is what it's called. I think you can have both of those at the same time. Oh, do I not? Anyway, I'm thinking of League of Legends. They have one item from a specific category at a time.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're talking about. But Deadlock is a little bit different in that case, and I do enjoy it. Being able to stack items to your heart's content sometimes is a pretty good feeling, at least with the minor items. I don't want to see a 5 capacitor Billy.
All right. Woody Seth is on Bebop this game. I don't think I've ever seen Woody Seth on Bebop. But I do think the main thing about Bebop is you just got to hit your hooks. If you can hit your hooks, you are fine. We saw, who was it last game who was playing Bebop? They were hitting their hooks all over the place. And then
it was Malachite, right? Yeah, it was Malachite last game. Yep.
Yeah, Malachite was playing Bebop. And Malachite was hitting their hooks. And it led to a lot of these that I was talking about.
Yep. It's going to be interesting keeping an eye out for him. You already see here throughout this lane, things are looking a lot more even. Nobody has dropped down to too low HP thresholds yet. And I think in part of it, it's just due to some of that neutralizing power that Northwood University have. Their Infernus is pretty quick to clear some of these waves. You got a Rem there with him to stabilize with those big burst heals. Looking at the other side of the map, Northwood are finally starting to get some pressure in, though. Having a Sinclair and a Mirage in the lane together, it's going to be a lot for you to deal with, especially if they're hitting their skill shots.
Indeed. And already we are seeing a lot of tower pressure coming out from both sides. The Doorman and Shiv on the one lane, and then we are seeing this Mirage Rem on the other lane.
Yep, a minute and a half to go towards these bridge buffs, and starting to see people pulling away, namely going to have a lot of damage here onto this Sinclair. Low health trade, the Billy's able to retreat from behind his Guardian, and the Sinclair is being very greedy. Still has a Spectral Assist in the back pocket, so he's going to be very sneaky here. He's able to retreat and claim those heal minions. But anyways, to finish the thought I was thinking about before, we're not seeing too many people from both of these teams really pull ahead, at least in terms of soul counts, with the exception of D1. That Infernus really close up to his total combustion is going to be a bit of a game changer here towards these bridge buffs.
Yeah, definitely not nearly as brawly as last game. And I think that's Nebraska's benefit here. I think last game was too brawly. Oh, speaking of, I think I spoke too soon.
Well, there's a lot of damage coming out, and at first I thought everything was okay, but then seeing the Mina get forced to use her bats in a really awkward situation, it's very merciful that she was able to get out, though the Billy is not in the same situation. Shromo is going to be the first to fall. University of Nebraska Lincoln, they were able to hold out for so long. This is just the first one of many bricks to be fallen.
Indeed. I do not like how this bodes, but I also know that this is certainly not over.
Yep.
Nebraska still has the possibility to come back here. And I think bridge buffs were claimed already, but hopefully those came to the side of Nebraska, but not any two-way of checking at the moment.
Yep, so one of them did go the way of D1, that Infernus, using their combustion to secure it, is sitting very strong with an extra amount of vitality. The extra regen and all of that is going to make sure that he doesn't get too threatened in this lane, even when he's being traded with. He has 1,400 max health at this stage of the game. Yeah, you're not going to be able to shake him very quickly.
Yeah, that's more health than even the Warden has at the moment, though a lot of that comes from the soul lead that this Infernus has.
Yep.
That soul lead is only going to get stronger if Nebraska does not put a stop to this.
Yep. Hyper Beam comes through, is going to be used mostly for wave clear this time, as we see the Silver in a sneaky position, able to unlock the Lycan Curse, but doesn't have too many strong ways to apply it. He's going to have to rely on a significantly extended trade here. We see the Bebop finding himself in a tough spot, is able to uppercut them away, and a Nox Nostra comes through. Both of these teams, they're engaging, they're fighting, they're trading with each other very deep, but ultimately, there's not that much damage between these comps in the early game.
I want to see Nebraska's middle lane here fight more together.
Yep.
Because right now, it's Mina does some utility, then Bebop does some utility, and then Mina does some utility together. I think that's a very powerful combination. Yep. Combined.
Now, looking at the right-hand lane, Billy again drops down to 1 HP, is really struggling to find his footing. I think a lot of that could be attributed to these Mirage Scarabs, doing so much damage to him. We do see here this trade happening. Cloud drops down to low HP, gets parried, and nobody's going to be able to cover him. The Bebop made their best attempt, but it's going to be forced into a retreat. Now just at 500 health, you're at serious risk of a tower dive. You see the parry come through, and the uppercut is negated. The Baroness is welcoming all, though, as Arctic comes in to save them at the last moment. It's going to be a luggage cart attempt. Seems like it was sent out a little bit too early, as now the Silver drops down to 1 HP. A double parry!
No!
Going to give them a lot more damage. They're able to pop the Lycan Curse, and is able to get a kill there onto Arctic that they had no business claiming. The rest to lock it as well, but it's going to be a parry around the corner. Cloud with an excellent play.
Man, this is too early to be giving me a heart attack. I'm still in college. This can't be. Okay, we're taking mid turret. This is pretty, or mid Guardian. That's pretty good.
Yep.
Keep this up.
Now, looking forward, right, we have 7.5 thousand souls over to D1, and there is an engage being looked for on him. He's able to pop that concussive combustion and give his opponents a little bit of a heart attack. Neptic getting dropped down to low HP, has the afterburn stacks still applied to them. We are going to fall to that bleed damage elsewhere on the map. Hyper Beam comes out from Woody Seth, doing a lot of damage here to this Silver. She doesn't have any utility to spare. The Lycan Curse is already popped, so that heals off the board. She's able to dash around the corner and hide behind those Sinners, retreating to safety. Another kill just seems to slip through Nebraska Lincoln's hands.
again, this is not looking... I think Stromo is going to be the next to fall here. Oh, no, gets out. Doesn't work. But it's going to be Woody Seth, perhaps.
Yep, stuck in a difficult situation there. Sinclair copying the nap time isn't going to be able to get too much damage out on it, though, and these teams are forced to disengage at least a little bit more. See the low health now on the Sinclair. The Rake doesn't quite finish off the deal. Nebraska Lincoln, you've got to be tired of the story at this point. Eventually, they do manage to find the kill there onto Icy. Rem is a little bit outside of the reach at the moment. And Malachite able to survive again. Northwood continue to preserve this one health curse.
Okay. This is not looking amazing, but it's also not looking terrible. We're getting a lot of wave pressure in, I think. I will admit.
And we see the Infernus here. And we see the Infernus here, stuck in the Baroness, down a critical health. He may be ahead, but he's not ahead enough, and even if he has spirit healing, it's going to be a difficult situation. Woody Seth ends up getting taken down by the roaming Silver. We see Neptic, sometime following them shortly afterwards. And looking elsewhere on this map, University of Nebraska-Lincoln claim this urn. The first urn of the game being a comeback urn, that's not the kind of tone you want to set.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. At least we get the comeback urn. That's important.
Yep.
And I think that Mina is in trouble here, getting chased by the Rem, then soon going to be the Sinclair. Nebraska is on the back foot here, which is not great.
Yep. Looking at the greater scheme of things, though, 11 minutes, 4K soul lead. Now, after that urn, not the end of the world. Where you're really going to start struggling if you're Nebraska, though, is the soul allocation. They're trying to... You're going to want to prop up Cloud. You're going to want to prop up Neptic to do as much damage as possible to get in this situation where they're able to comfortably duel and win these side lane fights.
Billy is in
and
trouble.
You're currently in a spot where you're not really able to, at least being this far behind. Billy here getting stuck in the sewers, doing a lot of good damage. You're trying to escape, but unfortunately, yet again, they're going to end up biting the dust.
I don't know why that... I don't know. I don't like where Arctic is at the moment. I think Arctic is in a dangerous position. Yeah. Because you see the Silver spotting the doorman. Doorman needs to get to his door. Closes just in time. But I think the Viper is going to be paying the price. Oh. Yep. It goes down off screen. Traded out.
Baroness comes through right underneath the Walker. Is going to be able to lock up the Silver for a little bit longer, but the mobility is available. And the Doorman gets cleared up. There's going to be a dive, though, with 3 men under this Walker. I don't know if it's going to be enough to save it, though. It keeps dropping down lower and lower HP. Northwood loses another member in Malachite. This is the opportunity here that Nebraska Lincoln needed. We see sometime there taking that duel up close with the Silver. The shotgun firmly planted at the front of their lizard face. Drops down to 1 HP, though. It is going to be really close between the two of them. It's actually going to be the kill going to the way of the Shiv. Nebraska Lincoln, they're finally starting to get their stride.
This stride might... This stride is looking good. I dare say I'm confident. I'm looking forward to this.
For all of you watching at home, you can really feel, you can hear the breath of relief in Navy's speech, especially considering they're in a room right next to where some of the Nebraska players are playing currently. That's got to be one hell of an environment to be in a game this stressful.
Yeah. I'm in my own little office, which is nice, but all that means is that, like, it's like I'm behind, like, one of them one-way windows where it's like I can't see out and they can't see in. That's just called a wall. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm so smart, guys. Speaking of smart, let's see what's in the what? But what is going on in here?
Mina there cashing in a lot of souls, looking to get some early game items. Stamina Mastery, gonna provide her with a lot of extra resilience, especially since we already see slowing hexes come out to play. We even see Crims there picking up a disarmament hex for themselves. Gonna provide them with a lot of utility, a lot of extra power here, as they're starting to look towards fighting this next urn.
Yes, this next urn is going to be crucial. Because I think this next urn is going to be what either cements Northwood's lead, or it gives UNL even footing. Uh-oh, Arctic is in trouble. And Arctic does...
Yeah. Beautiful kidnap there underneath the walker, but the doorman gets caught out shortly after.
Does not have a lot of
the Bebop is in position, though, lands the hook onto that Sinclair, and even though the assistant was ready, the walker with the excellent timing to follow that up with a good pick off the back of their now deceased captain. And the Hyper Beam comes through here. Bebop trying to make some magic happen. And ultimately, University of Nebraska, they're able to capture this urn and at least run away with it for the time being.
Yeah. I think that this Bebop is getting a lot of work done, which is exciting. Oh, Disarming Hex quickly puts an end to that. And Tromo is swarmed and dropped.
Like a pack of sharks. They're swimming together. They're looking for these kills. They're hunting them down. And yes, Nebraska Lincoln, they were able to pick up that initial urn. They lose so much for it. They've lost 2 now. They lost the one before in the doorman. Well, the Shiv is stuck in a tough situation. What am I supposed to do with this urn? Am I just going to babysit it? Do I walk around in my base collecting boxes? It seems like the answer to that question might just be yes.
Yeah, this is a strategy where you just bring the urn to your base, drop it, and let it walk back on its own. Let it reset.
Yep.
And it's probably the best thing Nebraska can do right now, because there is no way that they can confirm it at the moment. Okay.
Yep. An 8K soul lead that we currently find ourselves in. It's a lot, but it's not unthinkable to come back from it. Nebraska, they definitely have a lot of outs built into their draft. It looks like it's going to be a pull there. The dash actually manages to counteract some of it, but the pull into Doorman combo coming out of this, Infernus is going to be stunned and gets sent down under this walker.
Oh, but Infernus is getting away. Shiv needs to chase him down.
Yep. Not quite sure what step in the plan was missed there. You got the hook. You put them in the Baroness, you put them under the walker, and then question mark, Infernus is in the subway stealing her to your 2 camps.
This is not great. The idea was there.
Yep.
And ideally, I think that was just kind of spur of the moment. I don't think that was fully communicated out.
Yep.
Okay.
Now,
this is
looking at it, though... Yep, the urn making its way over for Northwood. They're so very close. The Hyper Beam back again from this Bebop on a gun build, but still does a little bit of damage with it. Mostly here, probably as a scouting tool. We see the Warden dropping the urn for the Rem to pick up. Still deciding who's going to be the one to be sent in to fend off against Nebraska, as they've gotten themselves a nice situation here. Hyper Beam copy comes out for the Sinclair. Malachite proving that, yeah, I might not be on Bebop this game, but I'm going to be able to do it better than you, especially with the Ton of Spirit. Mirage sending this Dust Devil through, especially with the 4, thanks to the Echo Shard, is going to be Neptic, dropped down to low HP. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far, which is better than we've gotten in recent history. The Blasted State is going to be preserved a little bit longer, but now Northwood, they're on this prowl. They lose Malachite, and they're looking to even things up. Shromo still continuing to slide away from this. We see Arctic is the next one to fall, and Sometime is trying their best to slither on away from this fight. Northwood have dunked the urn in. They may have lost the early fight in numbers, but they're making up for it now, and they're continuing to hunt down Nebraska until they reach all the way deep into their base, and they're looking for a little bit further than that.
Yeah. Cloud is not going to be able to do anything here to prevent this walker from going down. That is more souls in the side of Northwood. That is less ground for the side of Nebraska. and this gap just keeps getting wider. Nebraska is looking, searching for some solace, some support. And I think they're going to try to go for the kidnap strat again. You see Arctic chasing down Rem. And they're going to rotate to try to capitalize on this doorman who is out of position. I do hope that Arctic does not get caught out. Okay, Arctic does not get caught out.
Yep, those doors are always so tricky to navigate around, even if the other side is right around a corner. Once they go in, you're never going to see where they come out. And we see some clever plays here from Northwood as well, using the Spectral Assistant, able to navigate their way out of what could be some tricky fights deep in enemy territory. Now, 19 minutes and 52 seconds in.
Ooh.
I was going to call out that the bridge buffs are spawning, but the silver does end up getting knocked off of that vent. And the combustion comes through, trying to secure this buff. It is the Mina that's able to steal it away, but Cloud gets set ablaze. And the burn just keeps on ticking. It gets reset. Not going to take the vent, not going to make the same mistake as last time. Going to be able to preserve their life for a bit longer here. We see Shromo swooping in, trying to get some damage in. Somewhere in the middle of all this fight, sometime was the one to end up getting taken out.
Come on. Come on. Let's get a kill here. Yes! The silver goes down, and I think the Infernus is next. Let's hope that... Let's not lose anyone else in the meantime. Please.
Yep, looking around, it seems like the fight has sort of died off. We see how Northwood, they're still circling the situation. Malachite dropped down to 1 and is using the copied Nox Nostra here to get a lot of damage out. The silence does last, but bullets don't care if you're unable to speak. Mina picking up that kill for herself does set her up with a pretty nice soul lead. Looking here further, though, Warden gets caught out in a difficult situation. Nebraska are kings of this brawl. They're able to separate and dismantle members of Northwood individually. Cloud ends up getting taken down. Still a positive trade, though, especially as the Silver pops the Lycan Curse, goes underneath the Walker, gets stunned, but is able to kill the Bebop. And now we see Shiv running back to their base. Neptic is under fire. And the double tornado, double trouble, able to prevent him from walking back into the space just as you had something positive to say. Northwood are listening, and Northwood respond.
That was a very good Guardian Ward from somebody. I'm not quite sure who. That saved Infernus's life. They're going for mid-boss.
Mid-boss. Going to be big for this Northwood team. They got an early one last game. They're looking to make it happen again. Nebraska Lincoln, they're in position. They're getting ready for this contest and sensing that Northwood are getting off of it early, heading up to see if they can channel any energy off of this bait. See Stromo there, leading this charge from the front line. A nap time comes through, disabling the Mina for the time being. Silver drives down to low HP, but the curse has not been popped yet. See Cloud down to 1 health, gets taken out, and there's no more rich vampire society here from Mina, as the Infernus is blazing a trail. We see Arctic there leading the rest of his team to safety. They're Northwood now, with no more warning left on this mid-boss. They're going to be able to clean it up without much contention.
The picks keep coming for Northwood. The gap keeps widening. I don't think this Infernus gets picked here. In fact, I think Shromo is the one going down, because that burn is unavoidable. Once it gets stuck on you, there's basically nothing you can do to get off. Especially, like, you can use a Dispel magic, sure, but then what about the next burn? The next, and the next, and the next.
There's just so much to do, so much to cleanse. Especially since Dash Furnace's main source of damage isn't even the afterburn. It's going to be that napalm combined with the fire that he sets down on the ground. It's going to be a real struggle for you to navigate your way outside of that unless you have a significant amount of mobility drained right into your kit. That's one of the nasty combos there between the Infernus and the Warden. You're able to snap away so much stamina that Rest of Luck, it becomes a necessity. We're definitely seeing it here with the way that these teams are building it. You see Doorman gets ulted into his own domain. Is going to be executed shortly after. And that was Nebraska's one hope to potentially get a crystal.
Not quite. I think Mina is about to get collapsed on too, deep behind enemy territory, and Warden knows it. Sinclair coming in to help.
Yep, slowing Hex coming out onto this Mina, denying her ability to escape. Combo that with the disarming Hex, and you may be able to speak now, but you've been turned into a bunny. Forced to retreat, and the Nostra getting copied against her.
Oh, no.
Gonna lead to a surefire kill. Off the back of this, they find another one onto Neptic right in front of the base. And Northwood University, they have the keys at their disposal. They're going to walk right in, unlock this door, remove the security systems, get rid of those guardians, and start to siege this base.
Nebraska is running out of options, running out of time. The comeback earn is up, but Nebraska has no space, no ability to contest it. The Furnace is going to be able to pick it up and immediately deposit it.
Sticky situation we find ourselves in. Looking at the way this team is set up, it's a 37,000 soul lead, most of it allocated over to Benos as well as Blur. If you're sitting here from the perspective of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I ask you here again, Navy, where do you think we can come back?
That earn would have been a good starting spot, but it's gone now. It's off the board. The best thing we can do is try to get Woody Seth, the Bebop, to get a few picks and bring people away. Try to equalize numbers a little bit. That's easier said than done. Because I think Northwood also knows that that's really Nebraska's only win condition. We'll have to see what is done about it.
Yep, this team is hyper-grouped, and the Chain Gang comes through, is able to pull in 3, and there's a significant amount of damage here onto the Sinclair. 1 rejuve popped. Make that 2 rejuves popped, and for 1 death in return, we see Woody Seth getting chased down deep into this base. I may have cast Cursed because some time follows them to the grave. It's going to be 3 members down and 1 rejuve still left. We see Neptix trying to make their way back into the Fountain of Life. He ends up grabbing it just by a hair thanks to the bloodletting. The Northwood University setting their sights on these shrines. They're going to get the patron down shortly after that too. This game, and as a consequence, this series might have just wrapped up in front of our eyes.
I think you might be right. Spaffelz, I am baffled. I am distressed.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. I am in distress. I really wish that the story was different, but it's just a sequel that keeps happening, you know?
Yep.
It's like the Fast and Furious movies, where it all comes down to Northwood winning it all yet again. Unless Nebraska pulls off a hero play. I'm going to manifest it into existence. Cloud, please be the hero I need in my time of need.
We are able to secure 1 kill on both of these teams. Malachite being the one to fall, removing a lot of powerful utility that the Sinclair provides. But after that, you're kind of stuck in a catch-22. You've got this Arc Mother that's about to die. You need to put 2 to 3 members of your team on top of it at all times. There's going to be a kidnap there into the base, but that Fountain isn't going to do too much damage to your opponents. And we see Northwood, they have their eyes set firmly on the prize, and as soon as you have to walk into this pit, you're going to be subject to the Infernus, and there you have it. Northwood University are able to claim your second game in only 28 minutes, taking the series 2-0.
Guys, I am in despair. I had such high hopes. I thought this year was going to be different. Excellent work. This was well played.
Yeah, it was definitely a game to watch. There were some shining highlights. We did see some brawls. I'm sure if you look at the scoreboard, we'll be able to see some of those shine through. Your MVP is going to go over to D1. Had an amazing first match. coming back, proving it again, being the MVP of game number 2 on the silver, doing so much work. And when we look at the key players, you got Blur and Cloud. Cloud had a really solid shout there throughout that match. Ended up doing the most damage on their team. Does anything else on the scoreboard really scream out to you?
I feel numb. I know it sounds cliche, but I feel numb. I'm not sure what Nebraska could have done there. I don't think there's itemization here. I don't think that there's character pick. Kinda. You can point to individual things, but at the end of the day, it's just we lost.
And that's okay. Right, this is what you have done so well in the brackets so far to get to. This is your upper bracket finals. You still got another one coming. You got your lower bracket finals. You're going to be able to either rematch against University of Toronto next week, or you're going to be able to fight off against a new opponent in Seattle, depending on how their game goes. So you've still got plenty of opportunities here to get back into the series, though. I will agree with you that Northwood, they just seem like they're a cut above. Even though this was a number 1, number 2 seed matchup, it was a difficult one to watch.
It's very difficult for me to watch. I've been looking forward to a deadlock win. I've been looking forward to when we get to come home and say we're the champions. You know? I just have to wait a little longer.
It's coming. It's coming. It might not be tonight, but it could be, next week when we play our complete finals. We could come back, have a big moment. Coming back next year, potentially, too. There's always going to be Deadlock Esports, and this is a perfect opportunity for you all to come and check out our social channels. You can go and follow at College Deadlock on wherever you like to get your social media. You can also come in and join the Discord. If any of you are watching from any colleges or universities that haven't yet participated, this is an excellent time to hop in, especially as we're awaiting the open beta that has been rumored to be this year. I wouldn't put too much weight behind it, just speculation at this point, but it's Valve. They work on Valve time. They're going to make their make do with what they've got. But hey, why not get it ahead of the game if not that? There's definitely going to be a Season 3 DCS coming up later. So thank you all so much for watching the broadcast tonight. My name has been Spaffelz. Thank you so much, Navy, for joining me here tonight. It has been a pleasure to have you on, listen to some of your expertise on the players. To wish you all a very good night. Bye-bye.